righty. Well, let's try to do this, guys. Let's try to get 10 minutes of intel, or maybe a little bit more. You never know how long I might go. This is an interesting time to be in because, yes, we are coming up on Resurrection Sunday. And I'm going to say this. This time, some people refer to as Easter. That's fine, I guess. This Sunday, I think, is going to be a turning point for us. Because what I'm getting, let's start with the stimulus funding by coming by way of direct deposits and physical checks that'll be going out. And we'll tie all this in, okay? I think I talked a little bit about this on Tuesday. Here's the thing. We do not see anything happening in that regard on those checks. We're talking $1,210, 1210, 1210, $1,210 per adult if you're earning let's call it under $75,000. 1210. Now that is universal basic income. Now they're not calling it that yet, but they will. And that universal basic income, let's say you're married and each of you are not exceeding $75,000 in income, you would be looking at 1210 times 2, which is what? $2,420. And then if you've got kids, I believe up to the age of 16, you get $500 per child. Now, this is a monthly allowance, if you will, a monthly basic income. And I can't speak for the children component to it. I'll bet it still stays in the mix. But your universal basic income will never go below the $1,210 for one person, one adult. And I just think it's interesting that I found that out today, that that's going to be the case. Now, when is it coming? Well, we've got two things we're talking about. All right? This universal basic income in the way of a direct deposit for those that the government already has your banking coordinates from Social Security or some other reason. They will get those starting Monday or Tuesday. Monday or Tuesday, those will start going out. Let's say you don't have that, but you're going to be entitled to a check. Your check is going to come out starting Thursday. Thursday is the 16th. It was supposed to start the checks the first day after the 15th, which is obviously the 16th, which happens to be next Thursday, a week from today. So these were not so immediate as we had hoped. They did not come out with these as quickly as we thought, but they're coming out next week. Okay, now that's something that's not directly related to our blessing in terms of the RV, but let's put it in perspective. Okay, President Trump, from what I understand, wants this started, and I mean for us, Tier 4B, our exchanges started by the 17th, which is Friday. Friday's the 17th. He wants them started by then. The banker sources I referred to on Tuesday's call are still in line for us to start with exchanges Tuesday or Wednesday. Not calling it, just giving you what I'm hearing. Okay? Next Tuesday or Wednesday after Easter Sunday, Resurrection Sunday. All right, let's talk about what else is going on. You've heard of the 3 days of darkness, right? Everybody's heard about that. I've mentioned it several times. The 3 days of darkness where phone service, internet, all of that was questionable, right? Well, guess what? We already went through our 3 days of darkness, meaning those of us who are not part of the deep state. We went through it last Saturday, Sunday, and Monday until midnight. Okay? We've been through it. We had it. They made the adjustments for us on the internet. They made the adjustments for us in terms of any cell service. Our cell service, for the most part, was fine. It stayed intact. We might have had a glitch here and there, but overall, we're golden. Okay? Speaking of golden, there's one thing that China wants, the Chinese elders want, for President Trump to acknowledge in a speech, and that is the gold-backed USN dollar, our new gold-backed dollar. With that, by extension, perhaps there'll be mention of the gold standard returning. I hope it'll be done in the same announcement. The Chinese want that. They're good on the arrest count. They're good on the other things, but they need to have an acknowledgement of the gold-backed dollar, the USN, okay, or USTN, because it is a United States Treasury note. It's not a Federal Reserve note. It's a Treasury note. That's why I've been using the terminology of USTN for, well, years now. So that is important. That needs to come out. Now, President Trump tonight on his update on the coronavirus, what he said was tomorrow we're looking for some pretty cool announcements. He did show his hand because he referred to the fact that Saudi Arabia and Russia are getting together on reducing the amount of oil per day in millions of barrels. And the early estimate was that the total between the two, which was 2 million barrel reduction for Russia and 4 million barrel per day reduction for Saudi, those two totaling 6 million barrels per day reduction in oil production, is not really as high as the president was looking for. He was looking for 10 to 15 million barrels reduced per day. So far, they're talking about 6. I think he had them go back to the drawing board and try to come up with a better number. But we'll find out because he plans to announce that tomorrow during the briefing. Okay? And there may be something else that gets announced tomorrow as well. So I think tomorrow could be pretty good. Being a Friday, it'll be interesting to see what comes out tomorrow afternoon. Now, we are looking for additional announcements from the president on Saturday and on Easter Sunday. And we have heard there have been things put in code. Q has said some things. I think there's other things have been posted about the idea of a miracle Resurrection Sunday. And I'm not quite sure. I have an idea what the miracle might be, but I'll leave it up to the president to bring that out on Sunday, see what that is. But it looks like everything is going to start, the starting point essentially would be Sunday, especially if Miracle Sunday comes with what we think it might be and then goes all the way through the rest of the week with our stimulus checks, loan dollars for small businesses and large businesses, charitable organizations, all of that, churches, is supposed to happen next week. I think what we've got, guys, is we have all of that stimulus and loan money going out and us going in to the redemption centers at approximately the same time. We expect to go in quite possibly starting Tuesday or Wednesday, and I told you that these direct deposits are supposed to start Monday or Tuesday. So they're giving themselves a lot of things that's going to move a lot of funds around during next week. Okay? Now, where do we stand on the so-called intermediates? These are the fines and penalties, the adjudicated settlements, the Indian claims, the farm claims, et cetera, ad infinitum. Now, that has been set to begin paying out as early as today or tomorrow. Will it? We'll have to see. I know that people that are watching these specifically are saying that the funds have been allocated, the funds are there in place to begin those payouts. And those organizations, those, let's call it intermediates, those sovereign accounts, I believe need to be activated and paid before we go. And even before Tier 4A goes, okay, which is our counterpart, the groups based out west. And then us, who are part of Tier 4B still, they call us Tier 4, will probably still go at virtually the same time. Now, when it comes to the public, remember, we are golden. Let's see, today is the 9th. We know we're going to do exchanges at least through the 21st of April with our redemption centers. They're prepared to go through the 21st. Will they go beyond that? Don't know. Depends on when we get started, maybe, right? I think that'll cover us. If we get all the way up to and including the 21st, we're golden. Now, the so-called Joe Public, the Tier 5, as I've referred to it, the last group of the public, listen, they will go starting sometime in the first week in May, we understand. Okay? Now, one thing that we know is that the public, the only reason the public is really any different than us is that they haven't been paying attention to calls like the big call, and they don't understand or maybe don't know about the fact that they need to set an appointment, okay, using the 800 number, set an appointment to go in and do their redemption of Zim. Okay? They're not going to be able to do much with that if they don't have an appointment. If they have an appointment, they basically are rolled into Tier 4B, our group. But if they don't know about it, they're on their own. And they'll just work with whatever they can get at the Tier 1 and Tier 2 banks. So I believe we're completely set up with the FinCEN system is fully integrated now into the quantum financial system, the QFS, and the real-time payment system, which should allow bank wires, formerly known as bank wires, which they now call ledger-to-ledger transfers, those should occur in real time, literally under a minute, anywhere in around the globe. And that's a real positive thing when it comes to sending money. And it's completely safe and it can't be messed with by certain individuals in certain banks that want to hold on to your money remember, all the way up to about 13 days for international wires sometimes to go through. It's ridiculous. It's just nuts. All that's gone. All that's dead. You should find much, much higher level of cooperation with our banks. Now, not the adversarial relationship that many of us have experienced with the banks. The bigger the bank, the tougher the relationship. And I hope the banks get it together for small business and other businesses right away, because most of them are inundated with applications. SBA is inundated. They are not set up to handle this volume. And let's hope that bottleneck gets opened up where they can knock out a bunch of these loans. And let's hope that Congress gets their act together so that they can approve the additional $251 billion, which is needed for those small business loans, those guaranteed loans. Okay? Let's just pray for that, because right now there's still the partisanship going on something that should be a very simple addition to go through the Congress. So we're in for, here's another thing. When it comes to the so-called 3 days of darkness, like I said, those of us who are not part of a deep state or affiliate are in the clear. Those that are not are still looking at cleanup on aisle 3. And those people are the ones that are going to have the interrupted service for phone and internet, not us. Just making that clear. Can't say it any clearer. So now that you have the straight scoop on that, you can live in faith and not in fear. Let's see. Here's the other part of that. This could start Monday, and really it should. Some of you in the New York area may have seen something on TV late last night, around 2 o'clock, 2:20 in the morning, and that was regarding the emergency broadcast system being utilized starting the 13th of April. Just a small little window that was up in the upper right-hand corner, I believe, of the screen, as I understood it. And what this told me was that they are planning to operate the 10 or 12 days of disclosure, possibly starting on Monday. Now, those were to follow the 3 days of darkness. So can anybody do the math on that, where that puts that? How about starting at 1 minute before midnight tonight? Okay? And let's say that occurs, which I expect it will, and then Monday we might get those 8-hour segments played 3 times a day for 10 or 12 days. This is going to be 12 days or 10 days of enlightenment following the 3 days of darkness. Now, that is very possible because we're going to be under a lot of good information that's going to blow the socks off most of you. Now, those of us who have been following this for 10 years, well, I've been following it for 16 years, but let's say we followed it for a while. Some of these things will not surprise us, and some will be absolutely shocking. So, be prepared for that. Be prayed up for that. Okay? And just sit back and enjoy the show, because I think it'll be riveting. Could start as early as Monday. Just saying. It's up to the President, General Dunford, and Rear Admiral, can't remember his last name, to decide the exact start. But I believe there's a good chance that would start Monday. Now, I think that is giving you pretty much everything that I meant to bring tonight. I want everybody to be in a great attitude of prayer, I want everybody to be in an attitude of gratitude and have a beautiful resurrection weekend, starting with Good Friday tomorrow and finishing up on Resurrection Sunday this Sunday, the 10th, the 12th. Resurrection Sunday is the 12th, April 12th. So that is going to be an amazing, amazing time, and it should be a time of new beginnings, an actual milestone that we go by, taking us into a new paradigm. Beautiful time. So I want to thank everybody, beginning with my team of Sue and Bob, and I want to thank everybody that's listening to the big call and has for years and years. Some of you have never missed a call. All right. Good night, everybody. Bob, whenever you're ready. Thank you.